There goes the record, and you're live.
All right, we're back. It's here in Gary's Low Expectations podcast, episode 38.
Really?
Yeah, 38? I think so. Yeah, I lost count.
Yeah, we're still getting guests.
But yeah, today we have an amazing wrestler, awesome dude, Gallows.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. You can't see that. There you go.
So he's got to keep his eyes on the road.
There it is. There it is. Hey, what's that?
I'm just multitasking. Go ahead, buddy. I don't want to cut.
Right. You know what? Last week I was driving because I couldn't coordinate my time and all that crap. And yeah, so now we got you driving. So I think every week we're going to have someone in the car driving somewhere.
What happened? Yeah, there's just too much going on. I got to go on the road tomorrow for 12 days, so I had a bunch of errands. And
oh, geez. Thank you for doing this.
All kinds of stuff to get done today, so I'm just trying to get it all done before we head out.
No, I really appreciate you doing this and stuff. And yeah, and obviously just to let everybody know, it's a hands-free device, so you're just talking and driving and paying attention to the roads. Unlike Gary just dials up his phone. He's all over the place, drinking his coffee, eating on the way to work. Yeah. So
staring with my knees, texting.
Yeah. And he's got a manual transmission too. So he's shifting and all that stuff. Looking for bikers to, clip. Yeah. He's wild and crazy. So
yeah.
Let me apologize first because Gary usually asks real dumb questions.
Come on now. Who asked the dumb questions?
I'm just kidding. I usually ask a dumb question. I guess last week I tuned in late because I was just everything right. So I asked her a question. I thought she said she was teaching now, but she was teaching her kids like the rest of America.
Yeah.
And Gary buried me. He's like, yeah, way to join in late.
Yeah. Well, listen, as a host of the worst podcast ever, Talking Shop, dumb questions are always welcome.
Right.
Man, we're going to give you a run for your money on the worst podcast ever.
Hey, go ahead, Gary. I know you got some questions. Did you share it and everything? I'm going to start sharing.
Yeah, sure right now. But yeah, well, I want to talk to you about, you got released from WWE and then you decided to go to Impact over AEW, but ended up still wrestling for AEW, which is kind of cool. But what was the deciding factor in going into that?
Well, there were a lot of factors going into that. I think that AEW probably had some reservations about Gallows and Anderson because in September of 2019, essentially they made us a very nice offer, and we probably made the wrong decision when we turned it down to go back to WWE, but it was purely a business decision. There was a lot of money on the line, and at the time we thought we were doing the best thing for our families. So I knew when I got released because, I'd been released before, 10 years earlier, that I wasn't intimidated by that. I wanted to hit the ground running and make the biggest splash possible. And what was so attractive about Impact and, Terry and I's mutual friend, Scott D'Amore, who essentially now is our boss, was Impact opened up the door right away. Scott reached out to me less than 10 minutes after the news hit the internet. And he said, I don't know if you're ready to talk, but we want to talk. And I said, I am ready to talk. My partner, the Machine Gun, he'd never been through that before, but I was ready. I was, prepared with what has to happen next. And the biggest thing for me was I wanted to build our brand, our Good Brothers brand, our Talking Shop brand, all that. And everything that we've come out with, since that April release, it was actually has become the biggest blessing in disguise that's ever happened to me in my entire career, because Impact basically said, look, you wear the Impact hat, we're going to wear your hat. So everything from our Talking Shop Mania pay-per-views to our Talking Shop podcast, to our outside licensing and merchandising deals like our whiskey, our bourbon, our wine, our beer. Impact has jumped on board like no other wrestling company I've ever worked for. They've agreed to help co-promote. They've dropped it into their TV show. They've basically allowed us to have product placement on everything that we're doing. And it's helping us in an era where I think that wrestlers, it's different than it was, 10, 20 years ago, where now you can build that brand and that brand can be everlasting longer than your in-ring career is. And that was very important to me. I hope to have at least 10 good years left, but we never know. So I wanted to work on all these outside projects, and they've afforded us the opportunity to do it. And I couldn't be happier or more proud to be a member of Impact Wrestling. I've said this a lot in the media lately, but I'll say it again. If you're sleeping on Impact Wrestling, it's time to wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Right. Well, hey, you said you want to get 10 more years. We run a little promotion up here in Monroe, Michigan. We need at least 15 years out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I got 20 for you.
Good, good. Not trying to be selfish or anything, but we need at least 15. 20 we'll take.
Hey, it's gonna be better than when you came down to Lariato Pro, my little promotion, and it was so cold we couldn't run the outdoor show, so you just ate at a restaurant and went home.
Right. No, but I enjoyed hanging out with the guys and stuff and the fans. It's really good. But as far as you actually said, it was too cold outside and stuff like that, and starting to run shows and the Talking Shop, which you have ran a bunch of shows in the past. With the whole COVID and stuff, did that throw a big monkey wrench into the brand building, but you've got so much with the brand? Does the shows, it's not the biggest part of the brand, or?
Not the biggest part of the brand, but like Terry, you and I have talked about this, when we weren't being recorded time and time again. I think we both came from independent wrestling. We both thoroughly enjoy independent wrestling. Part of my deal with Impact is my Lariato shows go on the Impact Plus app. So actually, I was okay with, listen, we'll slow down over the winter months. We'll work on our other projects and we'll get back to it as soon as the spring hits. Well, then, the COVID stuff in Georgia is crazy. The numbers go up and down. People's feelings right or wrong on it seem to change a lot. And we ran our first indoor show this past Saturday night in a socially distanced environment. People were wearing masks, but I mean, to be in front of, we sold every chair we were allowed to sell. We sold right at 400 chairs. And then they even allowed us with some extra spacing to sell some standalone tickets. And we had a great time. We had Eric Young from Impact Wrestling took on John Schuyler, who's working over with AEW right now. Machine Gun Carl Anderson and myself were on the card. Zicky Dice, who recently left the NWA. But it was fun to be in front of a live crowd again because, we thrive off of that.
Right.
Awesome to see their excitement, and in the middle of the show it went so well that we went ahead and announced the return date for February 27th down in Lyons, Georgia. So just hoping we keep it going, man. Yeah.
No, is it in the same building or no?
No, it's a different building in a different town. And what we're going to end up, because it went so well, is I'm actually have a call after this about possibly a bigger venue in the same town, just a mile or two away, just to keep everybody safe. And I'm glad that they're happy and they want to come. So hopefully we double that number, but we need to be able to do it the safest way possible. Right,
exactly. And that's every like autograph session I've done or the virtual stuff. You have some people come in, but you have people working there. Everybody's worn mask and hand sanitizer, and everybody's everything I've done. Everybody they've adapted well, And Gary works for Ford, so everybody there he tells me a lot that they've adapted too.
You adapt or die, really.
Except Gary. Gary's always running in there without no mask,
No mask.
Sitting on the floor, yeah. But yeah. Hey Gary, you got a couple questions?
Yeah, somebody wanted to know how is it with the AEW crossover? How did that come about?
It was exciting. First of all, that doesn't really answer the question at all, so I'll delve into the question. I think that the idea initially was sparked by a Kenny Omega, Don Callis conversation, and then the Young Bucks, Machine Gun, and I were privy to it. We were all on board and big advocates for it. I feel like, WWE never wanted to give you the reunion that people kind of, I think, wanted out of the Bullet Club stuff in Japan. And this is a large amount of us. When you look at Kenny Omega, you look at the Young Bucks, you look at the Good Brothers, for us to all be able to come together, in Impact and in AEW, it's been great. That moment when Kenny set foot in the Impact Zone for the first time, I think was huge. And then it worked out with the spacing to where people, I think, were kind of starting to figure that we weren't going to show up in AEW. So when we did, it made the surprise big. And I think that, no pun intended, we made a big impact, and we got the wrestling world talking again. And that leads us into break, which is this Wednesday night, where Carl Anderson, myself, and Kenny Omega with Don Callis will take on Ray Phoenix, Pac, and John Moxley and do our favorite thing, beat up John Moxley.
There it is. Make us all proud. No, but yeah, just like a lot of people kept on asking me, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And you see it, it continues to unfold, and it's exciting, and it's great for the wrestling fans, and it's great for the boys too. And, you know, you never know how things will play out, but it's really exciting. And plus you'll get talent kind of like dream matches that normally you wouldn't have, because people, and that's one thing I like about Impact. They'll allow you to, you know, build a brand, because if you become more successful, you know, doing something else, it just helps them out too, you know. So and they really help try to push you to build brands and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think I couldn't agree with you more on that. It's been great so far, and I hope it continues, because like you said, it's a good time to be a pro wrestler, and it's a good time to be a pro wrestling fan again. So it's nice to see some positives come out of the negative that's been this pandemic, but I think that maybe wrestling will come out better on the other side of this thing.
Right. And, you know, and getting back, you had mentioned WWE. You were there how many years prior, and this last run, how many years?
The first run from developmental till the end was, I think, right over 6 years, and then this last run we signed in January of 16, and I guess we got let go April of 20. It was weird. My last match in WWE was a WrestleMania co-main event. It was the Undertaker's last match. So you don't figure leaving on that note, but as soon as we did, that was what spawned the idea for Talking Shopomania, which Terry, you've been a part of twice, and I appreciate that. It was a brainchild of ours to spoof all the things we love about pro wrestling and create a pair. And people have really seemed to like it. So I love getting the opportunity to do that as well. And Impact's been a big part of you know, helping out, supporting, promoting, and everything you could ask for on that front.
Yeah, and you know, and a lot of times, I'm sure you had really good experience and made really good money with WWE. You know, the opportunities are different there than with Impact, and you know, and men and women that work with AEW. But you know, like, you know, it's one of those things. It was never on your performance or any of the other guys. It's just this pandemic, and you know, in certain times like this, businesses have to, you know, they have to scale down some, unfortunately, you know, but it's one of those things where sometimes a negative is a huge positive. So it opens the doors to so many other things. And that's why both times, well, the one time I was released and the other time I just didn't resign because I seen the stuff with Impact and I really liked it. And, you know, I was blessed that they were thinking about it, but I probably would have been in the same situation a year later and not a lot of money. Like you guys. So, but the thing is, you know, it's, you know, I believe in God. We usually don't talk religion or politics on there, but I think we're all destined for a path, and we might not know it at the time, but then we see it, you know, once you get cooking and stuff like that. So
couldn't agree more, man. And yeah, I'm glad that we got a great crew over there, and I do think it happens for a reason, and it's a fun locker room to be in. It's fun to have management that's approachable. It's fun to have your own input. Like, I mean, you know, no one's handed me lines or scripts since I set foot in that place. And I love that, because I think that what helped Carl and I so much in Japan was being ourselves turned up. When you go to WWE sometimes, and it's just a different animal, and they hand you lines that aren't necessarily natural to you, and you're trying to sneak little things in. It comes off as a watered down version. So it's been fun and refreshing again to really get to be ourselves. And I think that, you know, as you know, and we've talked about before, when the fans see you having fun and they know you're having fun in the ring and on the show and doing what you're doing, it's easier for them to have fun along with you and to really get into it and kind of dig it. And that's been very cool.
Right. Now, what about Japan? Have you thought about going back to Japan or?
Yeah, man, we have contracts sitting in our emails that we can't sign because they can't create any new visas. So until this pandemic stuff eases up, a lot of the guys that had been there and had a visa in the previous year, they can renew. But guys like us who haven't had one since 2015 or whatever, it depends on when the consulate will allow them to create new visas again. So we're trying a bit to get back to Japan. We miss it very much. You know, some of the most fun we ever had in our careers was over there. So I hope sooner rather than later, but just like everything else right now, we just have to wait and see how it all plays out.
Right. You were saying that your last match in WWE was that the match with Undertaker and AJ Styles. It was more of a cinematic match. What do you think the future of cinematic matches in pro wrestling is going to be?
You know, I don't
be really well.
I think the pandemic has created that environment. I don't know that, you know, obviously Matt Hardy, I always call him the godfather of the cinematic match with the final deletion. That's very cool stuff. But, you know, I don't think that Undertaker and AJ, well, I know for a fact both of them were very unhappy, and they wanted to do that match and feel a crowd reaction. And I think to not be able to do that, they gave them the best possible kind of solution without letting the fans down. I think it got match of the year over at WWE. I'm still waiting on my Slammy. They must have forgotten my address, but but that's what made it so fun when we decided we wanted to spoof it and do a boner yard match, was because we literally did it in my front yard. We built the little grave and we bought the props and we brought the crew in and we filmed it right there. So, it didn't take us nearly as long because we're not as professional, but it was still a lot of fun.
Now,
you air those?
No, go ahead, Gary.
Do you air those? I mean, is there somewhere people can watch those?
Oh yeah, they're on every time we air a Talking Shop Mania. It's on every regular pay-per-view provider that you would use, and they live forever on where they air live as well. So they're $14.99 on Fight TV, Talking Shop-A-Mania, Talking Shop-A-Mania 2, and the documentaries of the making of both are available and will be available forever on Fight TV. So check those out. If you need a good laugh and you love randomness and professional wrestlers doing things you never thought you would see them do.
It's funny because they're like, hey, we're thinking about booking you and doing this. I'm like, it's a first, but yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And then I'll watch some of the stuff, and it's hilarious. Gary, you have to check it out. And name some of the talent that's on Talking Shop.
Oh my goodness! I mean, you and I, and the Machine Gun, and of course Rocky Romero, who's our co-host on Talking Shop-A-Mania. But we've had Tommy Dreamer, Warlord, the Barbarian. Chuck Romero is a big part of Talking Shop. D'Lo Brown. Yeah. Mike and Maria Bennett. Who else, Nige? I got George Northrod and Shotgun here with me. He was helping me ship merch earlier.
We had Virgil, Mr. Hughes, all these names.
Oh, yeah. Ethan James, Woggle, Brian Myers is always a big part. A big list, a lot of talent. Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, the Cock Torturer. So a lot of different people.
Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah, a lot of debauchery, a lot of it's shenanigans. It's great. Yeah,
it is TVMA, so I want to put that disclaimer out there. Don't watch it with your kids. We have lots of family friendly stuff. This is not it. So it's for the adult issue.
It's especially your buddies when you want to get drunk and have a good laugh.
Yeah,
and enjoy yourself. Be very entertained.
I'm not saying that you need a head change, but if you're into that kind of thing, get a head change for this.
I was also reading here that you and Carl Anderson said something about you guys were scared for your life at Saudi Arabia on a flight. Can you tell us what that was about?
No, I don't think I ever said I was scared for my life. The only time I've ever been scared for my life potentially was when they had machine guns
with me
in Nigeria. When Rhino hit a double bicep on me. No, Saudi Arabia was a long time sitting on an airplane without any answers, and there's a ton of speculation and lawsuits that have been thrown out of court about what really went on, but it was just a long damn time to sit on a tarmac surrounded by military and then eventually put onto a bus, taken to a hotel, and losing about a day and a half that we'll never get back, and then eventually getting to fly back home to the States. So I was never scared. I was highly annoyed because at that point, you're not allowed to have alcohol until you leave Saudi airspace. So if they would have
I forgot about that.
Right. Yeah, man. So sitting sober for 10, 11 hours in a plane seat on a hot airplane will really annoy the hell out of you. But I just think too many famous brothers on this plane for them to start killing everybody. You know what I mean? It won't work out.
Right. Hey, speaking of alcohol on planes, do you remember flying over to the Philippines, and you and I actually wrestled? I don't think that we knew the card.
That was the first time we ever touched, and it was the first time we really hung out together. And I remember what I said.
What's that?
Remember what I said to you when we got on the plane?
Yeah, you go, man, I know you don't drink anymore, and I'm glad, but man, I heard some good stories, and I'd love to drink with you, but I'm glad you don't drink. You said that like 4 times. I'm glad you don't drink. Man, I heard some stories, and man, we'd have a lot of fun.
It's like a great time.
Yeah, right.
But you're a great time without it too, so it doesn't matter.
Right. No, but it was a fun flight. Yeah, over there, and it was a great time. And Sean Davari, they did a great show. Yeah, a lot of fans. And what about that hotel and the food there? Holy cow! Do you remember that?
Yep, next level. That was a blast. That was when you stumble upon ones like that. They're a lot of fun. I ran a couple shows down in South America in 2011 in the 5-star resort, and they bought the shows and made great money off of them. And I sold the ring to the promotions. They were just going to keep it so we could keep it going. And I flew back home to America, and I'm supposed to call down there and get with this promoter's. He was a concert promoter too, kind of like I think the guy who set up the South America deal or the Philippines deal.
Right.
I called the secretary and I couldn't get through to him. So I called back a couple days later. And I said, listen, we're supposed to have a meeting to set up this next set of shows. And she was like, oh, you didn't hear? Once you guys left, the next day, somebody came and shot him in the head. And I went, holy shit. So that was the end of it. So it's sad how that one ended. But yeah, it was sometimes foreign ones where they take care of you like that are some of the most fun you can have.
Right. So, yeah, I know you don't have a lot of time, but Gary, I guess he's got a couple more questions.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, just the Royal Rumble was yesterday. I was wanting to know if either one of you guys, what your memories of the Royal Rumble has been. You guys have been in both. You both been in them, right?
I've been in two, I think. Yeah.
I got a good story from last year that I'll share, but if he wants to go first, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're our guest.
Nobody wants to hear him.
Well, I do, Terry. So last year I had just married my new wife, and she'd never been to a big pay-per-view or anything. And my son, his favorite wrestler of all time is Edge, right? And he kept reading. He's at the age where he'll look at the dirt sheets and stuff. And he goes, Dad, I think Edge is coming back. I think Edge is coming back. I think Edge is coming back. Well, then when I had spoke to Adam and I knew that it was true, I was like, man, I'm going to pull him down to school and I'm going to fly them both down here, right? So I flew him down to the Rumble, and I told him, I said, listen, this is a big surprise for you, but the reason you're out of school is Edge is coming back. Don't say a word to anybody. It's going to be really cool and you be here for it. Well, I didn't know the way the Rumble was going to play out yet, of course, and I didn't know that we were going to come in the ring with those guys. And right before we did, AJ and Edge are doing something, or maybe Randy, and AJ gets hurt, so we came down and kind of had to change stuff on the fly. We hit the Magic Killer on Edge, but they said basically like Edge or Randy will get you and Carl out. And I pulled Edge aside and I said, man, my son's in the second row. You're his guy since the time he was born. So I know it doesn't matter who gets who, but if you could get me, that would be really cool. And he did. He clotheslines me over the top, and just the way that it was going, because people were entering, we exited like through the crowd, and I was able to walk right past my son, and he was there. And, I'm thinking he's going to have all this adulation and pride for Dad. And he stands up and gives me the thumbs down and screams, Dad, you suck, go Edge. But I'll never forget that one. I thought it was really cool of Adam or Edge to do that, and something my son will always remember. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, that's when you should have looked at him and said, well, go see Edge when you want allowance.
Yeah, go talk to Edge about the next time you want to go get some wrestling figures at the store, bud.
Right. Well, how old is your son now?
He's 13 now. So he was 12 last year when we did that. Kind of cool because going through that period where it's not cool necessarily in his grade to be a wrestling fan, but then like when he gets sucked back in, like we haven't really watched WWE, just the stuff I've been doing in Impact and AEW. But he goes, hey Dad, after school, can we watch the Rumble? I just want to watch the Rumble match with you. And I was like, yeah, but you got to promise not to read the results online so we can be surprised. So that's what we're going to do tonight.
Cool.
Well, then I won't spoil it for you then.
Yeah. Well, your son, you've always been really close with your son. I always hear you talk about him and stuff. And I love that one video where you throw him a pass and you go long and he's just running forever. I forget what that was on, but it was hilarious. I'm like, I've got to steal that some way, shape, or form.
Like an old Benny Hill bit. And then my buddy edited it for us. Yeah.
So, but Gary, go ahead.
No, I was just looking at the questions here. Somebody says wants to know any fun stories about Festus.
Oh man, I mean, you got to remember when I was Festus, I started that gimmick when I was 23, and they wanted me to grow my hair in, and I couldn't already. Male pattern baldness is horrific in my family, and then, I didn't look great as it was. I had a little baby fat on me. They wanted a little more, so you go be a 23, 24-year-old dude. You're gonna get your first big TV run, and you look like a 60-year-old out of shape man. So like, I figured I was going to have long blonde hair and a sweet robe, and here I am playing this overweight, catatonic guy. I didn't think I'd ever touch a woman again in my life, but Festus was a lot of fun because it was a character where, it was a good babyface mid-card act. And because it was a character, kids knew when the bell rang, he would go crazy. When it rang again, it would shut off. So it always got great reactions. It was a lot of fun on the live events and stuff like that. And I always get when I do interviews, especially with like non-wrestling people who don't know, like, hey, like how embarrassed were you by that? And how do you wish you could erase that from your career history? And I always say, I don't wish that at all. I was able to buy my first house with that. And I'll come into my own as a man in the wrestling business. It was my first run. I mean, it's not the run that you necessarily want, but it got me going. So I got no.
Well, plus also it helped you as a performer, because like people forget, when you do stuff like that, you kind of step out of the box, and it helps you grow from there too, is working on a crowd reaction, changing stuff up, and it actually makes you better. And sometimes if you go through that, it makes you better, and it gives you longevity,
because 100%, and you have to evolve out something else where, if I stayed Festus, who knows if I'd still be in wrestling. So it makes you have to, you got to sharpen up and come up with the next thing, or try to jump into the next character, or whatever you can do to evolve and continue to evolve, hopefully for a long time.
I think a lot of people are afraid to try different things because they're afraid to be like maybe a tight cast, if you want to call that, because like, look at Edge and Christian, how they were all doing just nothing but goofy stuff, and all that stuff. And they managed to get out of that. So, but no, a lot of times I think it's better to do stuff like that, so.
Well, good for me because I was still green. So like, it wasn't like I had to be necessarily a ring general when that thing started. I had to have an exciting comeback and a ton of fire and be this character babyface, but it taught me working with good heels and good teams. It helped me develop for after, like you're saying. So it was good for me all the way around.
All right. So
when can we see you beat up Rhino here again pretty soon?
I'm staying away from him. I don't want to eat another gore like I did in the Philippines.
Right. I know you don't have a lot of time, and you got to get ready for the road, and you got 12 days or something on the road. But Gary, is there anything you want to do on the closing out, or anything you want to get in?
Well, let's let them discuss. You got AEW Beach Break coming up. You can give that a little plug, and then I want to talk. Maybe talking shop and your wrestling. Just let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah, man. All my social media is _Big LG. There is always something going on with me. I'm the king of the cheap plug, so I'll do it right here. Please make sure you join us for Beach Break. It will be on TNT Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We are the main event. Machine Gun Carl Anderson, the Best Bout Machine Kenny Omega, the big LG Gallows versus Phoenix, Pac, and John Moxley. Don't miss that. Make sure you're watching Impact on Access TV every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And the best app in the business, Impact Plus, $7.99 a month. Every pay-per-view at Impact history. Tons of great content, including our Lariato Pro shows, where you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of Rhino, myself, a lot of great Impact stars with talent from around the independents. So you want to check that out. TNSmania.com, all things talking shop. We have updates on our pay-per-view events. But most importantly, we have links to buy our wine and our bourbon. So we are shipping nationwide right now, except for states with limited alcohol abilities. So jump on there and check that out. And we got some brand new action figures coming out, and the pre-order actually ends February 7th. They're available at super7.com. Machine Gun Carl Anderson and myself, Good Brothers Figures. These are the most detailed action figures that we have ever had. So I hope everybody jumps on board and checks that out as well. And like all the boys, we're on ProWrestlingTees.com. The flight site for that's gallowsandanderson.com, also collarandelbowbrand.com. Your promo code is HOOT on all of that stuff. So I appreciate everybody watching, and it's been fun to be back in the Bullet Club.
Yes.
I gotta say, 38 episodes in, that's the best promo I've heard thus far. I mean, it just rolled off his tongue, just like
I know. I would have stumbled all the way through that.
We stumbled all the way through every episode. That was amazing.
So often I got it to memory, boys.
There it is, brother. There it is. So,
I want to thank you for joining us. Good luck. We'll be watching. Take Rhino out next time you see him, and
I love it. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, thank you, and tell everybody I said hi, and then we'll definitely watch tomorrow or Wednesday night.
Please do, and make sure you guys tag me so I can share this.
Okay, for sure.
All right.
we're
Thanks,
gonna
guys.
Gallows.
we're gonna continue on talking here for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, so if you want to jump off, Gallows.
Yep. Sounds good, brothers. I'll see you later.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude, man. I really enjoy him. Really good worker too in the ring, and and then plus the whole good brothers thing. You know, when they call you a good brother, it's kind of like a badge of honor. It's like, hey,
he's got it going on. I mean,
I'm one of the guys. So, but anyways, and you can be I actually called him and asked him. I'm like, you know, like I have a friend and she's a female. Could she be a good brother too? He goes, yeah, that's a good sister. I go, oh, okay. I didn't know if you just call everybody a good brother, right? So no, that's a good sister. And then he, you know, like Nia Jax, I guess they were like all the boys were out and stuff, and she was out too. And yeah, and he goes, she's a good sister. I'm like, oh, cool. So,
did you watch the Royal Rumble? Did you?
No, I was busy doing other things.
Yeah.
I won't quite say, but put it this way, I was preoccupied and I wasn't doing anything else. So,
gotcha.
Nothing else was on my mind.
Well, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, Edge won. I was very happy to hear.
Yeah, I'm glad he said that he was going to watch it later, because I was going to ask about, you know, what they thought about Edge winning and going from one to, you know, to the winner. I think it's the second time ever been done, I think.
Right. So yeah, you didn't want to. Good thing you didn't stooge it off. So, but yeah, well, I'm actually looking out my back window here at my. You know, I don't know if a lot of the fans know or people watching, but you know, it looks over the marina and then the woods and everything, and I bubble the marina so it doesn't freeze over. So we get a lot of eagles from the Monroe power plant over here. So we had 3 sitting on the ice the other day. And then today we had 1 sitting in the tree. They'll come over here and, you know, dive for fish and food and all that. But we have a bunch of Canadian geese too. So, I mean, I don't know if they're supposed to be here, if they have their paperwork.
Go out there and check. Just don't fall through.
Right. We have to get those eagles, the bald eagles over here to get them out of here. No, it's pretty cool. I've got a bunch of ducks out there. Yeah. So if you have any old bread, bring it by. I'll feed the ducks.
We should just have all day video from on your dock there.
Right.
Live stream. Maybe people can watch it all day. The birds.
Right. People are probably thinking, yeah, the ECW Rhino is definitely not in front of us right now. It's talking about feeding ducks, drinking coffee.
What would the ECW Rhino be doing?
Well, it'd involve alcohol, women, and just a lot of extreme stuff. But
well, we'll probably get wrapping up here. I know we got a good month coming. We got Nakia Burris and Kat Sutherland, who both are Power Rangers. They're going to come on together on the 18th. So that'll be fun. And we got Zach Gowen on the 25th.
Yep.
And then the 11th, we ain't saying what we got the 11th yet, but
the 11th I'll be at Impact.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we might skip there. Give you guys all a fair warning.
Right.
So, yeah, we just wanted to make sure we announced the new guest for this year's Pop Fest. Fingers crossed that the vaccine works and we get to have it. But Doug Jones is coming to the Monroe Pop Fest this year. He's Ape Sapien and Hellboy, Silver Surfer and Rise of the Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four. He's I think Fauno and Pale Man and Pan's Labyrinth. Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus. He's in hundreds and hundreds of movies. He's just amazing actor, and we're really happy to have him coming. So hopefully everything works out. We can get the Pop Fest in this year, get the wrestling events going here pretty soon. And
right. Well, we're looking at what, May 20th.
Yeah, I was looking at dates too just now.
Yeah, at the Boatyard. Someone's definitely going in the water.
So you heard it here first. Someone's definitely going in the water, and it's not me.
Watch, I'll promise that, and nobody ends up getting thrown in the water.
Oh no, you'll throw somebody in the water.
Right.
We keep our promises.
Right. So Gary, don't say you're not going in the water, because at the end of the show, nobody's in the water. Like, Gary, come on, take one for the team.
Can I have arm floaties or something?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well then I'll
we'll have a diver in there. Yeah, we'll make sure everything's safe for you.
Well, we probably should wrap this up. So, want to take us out?
All right,
No?
see.
Get real close.
We got to get a better out.
If you like the show, please subscribe to us on YouTube at Terry and Gary TV or on iTunes, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcast. And also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And share away. Let people know that we have a podcast and we talk nonsense. And we got great guests, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
really good guess.
Yeah.
I think they've saved us. If it was just us, we would have been gone after the second one.
Low expectations is our part. Everything else is high expectations.
Right. Is Dave there to take us out?
I don't know, Dave, you still there? Uh-oh.
Right, you might have to text him.
We're gonna keep it going. Oh, it's a lot earlier than usual.
Are we supposed to get a lot of snow?
I don't know. I'm looking right now. It's snowing.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah. But are we supposed to get a lot?
I can ask Google.
Yeah. Hey, is that a Barry Sanders jersey behind you?
Yep.
Yes. Nice jersey.
Autograph Barry Sanders.
When did you get that?
DC Sports had it earlier in 2020.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I sent away for it. Can't go and meet him in person, so.
Right.
Yeah, find Dave here so he can get us out of here before we look
remember the one time he was at the pool or something like that? Just hanging out. We're like, hey, you there?
Getting a hot dog, so I kind of just I got this jersey.
Yeah, right. Man, I can't wait till the summertime to get this boating stuff going.
Yeah. What else you got coming in the summertime? You got the Speedo week?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Hey, if you
What?
want to throw a Speedo week, you get a boat, you can go ahead, man. Dock it down here. Where could Dave be?
I just text him help.
Right. He's like, you guys are done already? Yeah.
I didn't know he had to leave so soon, but it was a good show. He had a lot. I'd like to talk to him again.
Right. Was there a lot of questions or?
Yeah, it was going pretty good, but a lot of them were repeats.
Oh, okay.
Wanted to get into the Festus stuff.
Right. I was just coming back to check on you.
Yeah,
there you are.
He had to go, so we don't want to talk to each other.
Right. Gary and I, we talk too much.
All right. Well, you want me to shut it down?
Yeah, if you could.